Hey guys, well straight away firstly I better apologise in advance for the wind. In this clip it's the only opportunity I've got and it's quite windy today, so hopefully it's not going to affect the speaker too much. But yeah, do apologise for that in advance. Anyway, to do with the patch, this is probably the last chance I'll get to do a clip before Christmas, but it's probably a perfect time really because I think the patch is peaking now. I think it's at its most full. There's still some things that are coming on, so that are only just starting or haven't quite started fruiting, but as far as the patch being at its fullest, definitely I would say that is right at this point, so it should make for an interesting clip. We're still in the transition phase. It's hot, but we haven't technically got to bloody hot yet. We've had the extremely hot days, but we haven't got the prolonged extended hot days, which is a good thing. But you'll see evidence around when I take you around the patch of some heat affected things from the last few days. Anyway guys, I'll stop yabbling on and take you for a spin around the patch. So as you can see from this side, all the beds are really chockers, and even the sides. Normally I do a shot from up the top there, up on the cubby house, but the tomatoes are in the way, so you don't really get an idea of how full it is. And even here it sort of doesn't really do it justice. But anyway, we'll mosey on down this end and we'll start over here. So in this bed's all rock melon and basil. No rock melon yet, but plenty of flowers on the go, and I'm just keeping it trimmed off, trying to confine it sort of to here. Now the basil planted in amongst the rock melon seems like a weird combination, but it seems to be doing it really well. We've just harvested a heap of basil, and it's not trying to bolt to flower or to seed yet, so plenty of basil on the go, and it is liking that. I think it's the shade from the leaves that it's really liking. Over the back there we've got some zucchini. They're not doing too well. I mean, they're doing okay, but they haven't fruited anything really yet. There's a few flowers on there, but yeah, I just don't think it's quite enough sun. But I've got a plant down the other end that I'll show you in a minute that's doing really good. Over here we've got the cucumbers. They've finally caught on, literally, to the fence. Heaps of flowers all the way down here. And we've already started harvesting. There's some half developed or 3/4 developed, one there, and this one here I missed. Where was I? I saw it just before. There it is. I missed one yesterday. There's a really good example, full size one, but just being a bit of a perfectionist myself, I'm hoping that the ones that grow on here with them hanging straight down should get some nice straight cucumbers. Not that bent's, any problem, still tastes the same, but just, perfectionist. There's a couple more there. At this stage they'll probably only maybe take 3, 4, probably 4 days, and they'll be full size depending on if I keep the water up or not, which hopefully I should. Now over to the tomatoes. Now, wish I was standing next to this so you could get an idea of height. Oh, there's that wind again. But I reckon that'd be about, I don't know, 8, 9 foot. Yeah, to the top. All the tomatoes are looking really good. We've got all different varieties. We've got some, this is yellow ones here. Some black ones in there. These are some sweet bite cherries. They're doing really well, and you'll notice I've stripped all the leaves out. There was a lot of leaves, that's some grapevine as well, but they were yellowing. I think I got a bit greedy and I planted them all too close together in here. So yeah, they were sort of blocking each other out, so decided to trim out all the yellowing leaves, but they're still really healthy up towards the top. No problem there, and it's still continuing to produce a lot of fruit. So all the way down from top to bottom you can see there's fruit galore, and not a problem there. Over this side, this one hasn't been trimmed back yet. You can see it's all just full of leaves, but there's already fruit under here that's ripening. You can see under the canopy there lots of dead leaves that I've got to cut out, or I'll have the same issue and then you'll get fungal problems and all sorts. So I'll do that today. Moving right along. Over this side we've got all the beetroot, which is the first lot up here is just about ready for some harvesting, I think. You can see there's some good ones there. That's actually another nice one right there. So we're ready to start harvesting beetroot. Again, the sandfire, even though it's got some hot weather, is still doing well, and it's got some new shoots down the bottom there, so that's good. This is the shade cloth for this whole side to go up and over. Trying to hold off doing that, don't want to do it because I don't want to too much, like I said, get too much mold and mildew under the tomatoes, so trying to hold off doing that as long as I can. Capsicum, plenty of capsicum. Some really good ones too, heaps. I'll take them on the other side. Yeah, it's a bit hard to show you, but there's plenty of capsicum. No red ones yet, we're just harvesting green, and yeah, we'll leave them on there a bit longer and they'll go red. So that's doing really well. Next to it here is the good zucchini. This is harvesting really good. We've got plenty of zucchini already off this one, and like there's plenty more to come. And there's another one over here which is doing really well too. Anyway, we'll zoom through under the grapevine and we'll go over the other side. I almost forgot before I go through there, I've also got the eggplant and the second planting of basil through here. The eggplant, this is quite literally the first flower on it. So these are still a fair way off. There's 3 different varieties in there. Hopefully after Christmas or by Christmas they should be getting some fruit on those. Anyway, time to go through here under the grapevine. There was some onion chives here, sorry about the poor lighting, but they obviously don't like the shade, so they died. We've got the rocket. This is like a, it's not the wild rocket, I think it's called sweet rocket or something. Much prefer this to the other one, but it does like the shade of the grapevine under here, so seems to be doing quite well there. All the other herbs through here, all my baby rosemary that were left over from doing the hedge out the front, they've all been trimmed back and potted up, as have the other herbs through here. Plenty of thyme, actually heaps of thyme, so we do use a lot of that though, so we've got it in pots, and then I've also got the other thyme over here. And actually the tarragon this year, I thought I almost lost the tarragon last year, but the tarragon's doing quite well this year, so use a fair bit of that. Oh, hello Mr. J. Hey Jay, do you want to show the people how you eat the blueberries? Here's the blueberry. Jay was feasting on these before. It's absolutely covered still, and they're actually starting to shrivel up a bit, but they're still pretty good. Here you go, Jay. You pick. Yeah, there looks like there's some nice ones there. Pick a few. Pick some big ones. You gonna eat that one? Good? Good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, you can keep eating those. You're gonna actually pick one for Daddy too. Oh, not the one you just put in your mouth. Kids, eh? Pick one for me. Pick me the biggest, best one you can find. Oh, wow, he has 2. The size of that one. Well done, Jay. Alright. High five. Thanks. We'll continue on our way. Thank you, Mr. J. Over here is the lettuce bed. Lettuce bed is chockers. Absolutely full. I've got another planting to go in. This is the 2nd or 3rd planting. I'm confused. I sort of tried to stagger them through, but they've all caught up to each other and they're all ready at the same time. So we're frantically trying to eat salad at the moment. But yeah, can't complain when you got this much salad. Family tends to come around and knock it off us quite often anyway. The beans going through here, the green beans, they're doing fine. This is a second planting. I didn't bother taking away the first planting. You can see some dried ones here. So the second ones have just grown and just gone straight over the top of the old ones. They're just flowering now. So we'll get plenty of beans. Ow! Off there. What's that? Oh, you're snipping the weeds. Good boy, he's weeding for me. Well, I'll pay you in blueberries. This bed here, I'm probably going to try leave empty. I generally try and pick one bed in the summer to leave empty, just so it can sort of, you know, regenerate, and I can add more manure and compost and stuff to it and give it a bit of a rest. So this one here, just rip out the last of this celery, and yeah, I think I'll leave this one. Celery, it's one of those things I grow every year, but I can't bloody give it away. We don't even eat it that much. So generally the tops go for chicken fodder, and believe it or not, the chickens turn their nose up as well. So that's a bit of a shame. Anyway, over here is all my seedlings. So we've got, this is the second generation pineapple. These are the tops off the other ones that we ate in the last clip. They're just starting to throw some roots. I've just got them sitting in some water, and then I'll transfer them to a pot probably next week. This is the third planting basil, grown from seed. Over here I've got, now that it's warmed up, these are the snake beans. This is the third generation snake bean. The original snake beans came from Rob Bob a couple of years ago. Thanks very much, mate. Good job. Corn over the back there, that's the second planting of corn. And then a few other bits and pieces down the end there. Over here we've got the blackberries and blackberries here. They've got plenty of flowers on them and plenty of bees hanging around actually, which is good. You can see just there. And the raspberries, they've been smashing along too, trying to keep the water up to them, because they are pretty thirsty plants. But yeah, they're doing really well. There's another flush just coming now. They're having a bit of a lull at the moment. Just finished off their first flush. This one over here, this raspberry, had a bit of heat damage the other day. You can see some of these crispy leaves. So it's not that it hasn't had enough water, it's just that this one gets the direct sun a little bit in the afternoon, and it's just not quite protected from the edge of that shade cloth, so just gets a bit of direct sun there. So not too much of an issue. Should still be okay and give us another lot of fruit before it's done for the year. Chilies, these are little bird's eye chilies. They're not too far away from getting the first few of those. This one here is the jalapeno, and the jalapeno are doing really well. They're not too far off either actually, so that's good, even though we don't eat much chili. The other chili over here, these larger ones, I've already given a few of these away, but they're loaded with heaps and heaps, so they don't mind being in pots there. Hello girls, say hello. Now's your chance, hold your peace. That was a bit weak. You can do better than that. Hello. Bananas, the banana has thrown another hand. You can see here a new one, so I've learnt my lesson now. Once this slows down and stops fruiting, I will take the flower off and I will attempt to cook with it. I've never done that before, but this time I shall try it. The other plant over here that had a hand on it, the hand has come off. I'll show you a picture of that. I've got it up near the house. It just started to droop over and then eventually just fell off. So they're still green. I'm hoping that they'll ripen up, but I don't know how that works, so we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. The rogue tomato, still plenty on there. I found out what variety it is now. It's like a cherry black, and you can see these girls are following me around because they love them, but they're not going to get this one. This nice one is going in my mouth. Jay likes tomatoes too, don't you, Jay? Do you want one?
Oh, okay. Okay, how many?
Yeah, you won't say no. Oh, big one. Good one? Thumbs up? Thumbs up. Okay, what else? Red onions. They've all been harvested. They were all in this area through here. Just pulled them out and let them dry. I should really put them up on a rack so that they don't rot on the bottom. Not that they'll rot, they're quite dry, but there were some good ones. You can see here, this one's a pretty good example. So I'll do that actually. I'll move them up probably under the shade of the pergola and let them air dry on a rack. And then I also have to pull out these brown ones. They're ready. You can see they've all flopped over and they're all sticking out of the ground. These are definitely, actually I'll do that today. I'm going to harvest these brown onions. So as I was saying, yeah, the onions are definitely done. This one's probably the pick of the bunch. This one's huge. As for the garlic, I just started digging around a couple and I was going to pull them out today too, but they still look just a little bit on the green side, so even though that's a whopping size garlic, I just don't think it's quite there yet. So I'll be leaving all these through here for a bit longer yet. The fruit trees are all looking pretty good down that end, and the what's that? The passion fruit vine is climbing up nicely there. The apple trees, actually some of them do have some apples on it. Yeah, I think it was the Gala has quite a few, and the Pink Lady has got a couple as well. So yeah, fruit trees down that end looking pretty good. I'll show you over the side bit on the other side over there, and where the corn is and pumpkins, and that should be just about it for today. So lucky last spot over here is the corn and pumpkin, which is looking pretty good. Corn's getting up there. I'm giving it a light water every day because I don't want it to stunt itself and go to flower like it did on me the other year. Still got corn, but it actually started to have the part come out in the middle when it was still very low, so I'm trying to get these bad boys nice and tall. As for the pumpkin, there's Kent up here which doesn't have anything on it yet, which I didn't expect it to. This one's starting to encroach out onto the lawn, which, you know, doesn't really bother me. I think that's what I did last year, and then it started to throw some pumpkins out here, so that's fine. In between these corn, butternut, I did notice one here, but I don't think this one's pollinated. Possibly could be, but I'll keep my eye out on that. Might have to do a bit of hand pollinating. There's a few more over the back there. So the only thing I didn't get to plant this year that I was trying to find is some spaghetti squash. I'm bummed out about that because I do love my spaghetti squash. But yeah, that's pretty much it in the garden, I think, this week. Well guys, hopefully you enjoyed the wander through the patch today. Probably the stars of the show would be the tomatoes, and Jay, of course. But yeah, not sure if I'll get another clip out before Christmas. I'll try my best, but obviously very busy time of the year if you work in retail. Not sure what my next day off is going to be. But yeah, if you like today's clip, thanks for watching, and you can always leave a comment if you like. And I am pretty active on Facebook, so I've got VEGGIEPATCHINPERTH on Facebook as well, where I post quite a few pictures and I chat to a few people on there. Feel free to do that. Other than that, yeah, enjoy the next few weeks leading up to Christmas, and see you in the next clip. See you later, guys.